Here we are. Um, I've said before, I do not cover most of this culture war nonsense because, let's face it, it rots people's brains. Absolutely, well and truly distracts from, I would say, larger actual issues, that need solving. And ultimately, at the end of the day, with this new quote, woke hammer controversy that's coming out, all I've got to say is, so what? There's now female custodians or custodes. Well, I've confused both, but never mind. Uh, who cares? Like, seriously, who cares? What's the big deal? No. Um, Very likely sooner or later, GW will introduce female, space marines. Even Dan Abnett, I think it was Dan Abnett, when this controversy started gaining steam, when he was talking about writing and creating like new lore for the book. They expressly said to him, "You can't do this at the moment because we don't have the models because all the models are modeled on a male body. Because if we did do a female body, that would cost more money to make." Now, of course, from a business decision, okay, fair enough. Law-wise, though, there's no reason why you can't have that. Deal with it, get over with it, guys. Move on. We've seen this, I don't know from how many times. There's now once again trying to make this the tabletop gate. Uh, like, you had Gamergate. This is what some people are trying to sort of spin this as. It's honestly a load of complete nonsense. If GW wants to change the law, then let them change the law. And bear in mind, guys, have you forgotten the fact that GW is like one of the single biggest like law readapters there is out there? The number of times they have retconned, rewritten, or suddenly changed their mind about a character's motivations or ideals has completely changed all the time. Done this constantly over the years. However, it does reach, I think, peak hilarity now as the Daily Mail has decided to wade into woke hammer, or the woke hammer row, as they are calling it in this. So we're going to get into this because, as usual, this is going to be hilarious. Laughing at people who seem to sort of really take this to heart when it's just like, guys, I mean, just this guy alone has had his law changed so many times over the years. Just this guy alone. And yet, who cares? It's Abaton. Um, there we go, put him back. But anyway, yeah, honestly, who cares, guys? Who cares? Honestly, that should be the end of the video. I shouldn't even bother going to the Daily Mail article, but I'm going to anyway because I'm sure it'll be, well, it'll be funny. Anyway, let's go getting onto this. But before we do get into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. Of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, the one updation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, there's the Pony Club down below as well. Let's crack on to this. Coming from the Mail Online exclusive. I love this. It's exclusive. You've maybe missed the boat here on this. It's Wokehammer. Games Workshop now engulfed in gender row with fans after its Warhammer squadron was previously thought as men only, has always had females. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? So, a woke gender row has now broken out amongst Game Workshop fantasy fans. Games Workshop fantasy fans? Oh, clearly using the wrong terminology there straight away. Completely the wrong gender. Well, not completely wrong. Like if you've even used Age of Sigmar, not 40k. There you go. Yeah. Uh, this is why you don't wade into these rows, because you don't have a clue about what's going on in the first place, guys. Um, but whatever. Anyway, he continues. Anyway, bosses behind the Warhammer game have now introduced a female character to one of its most popular tabletop battalions, whose devotees include film star Henry Cavill. They've introduced females to a lot of stuff in the past recent years. I just have to question why all of a sudden now it's an issue. But some men, and I must stress it is some men, are furious at the move, insisting that the Adeptus Custodes brigade anyway has always been a all male, and any change should have now been done differently. The company was directly questioned on X, formerly Twitter, as the follower asking, "Why did you make female custodes? Why not make female custodes?" The original 10,000, I believe, never actually stressed that the firstborn sons that were taken from Terra never actually stipulated that they were all male. There you go. Anyway, the official Warhammer account responded by posting, since the first 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodes. The new edition of Warhammer 40k Fantasy Fiction introduces, again, very weird terminology, Warhammer 40,000 Fantasy Fiction. Again, mixing up the terminology there, but, you know, it's not like you're a fan or anything, so, you know. So they've introduced this new character, Custodian Kaljes Travokesh, using female pronouns for her. Again, who cares? They've introduced a female Custodes. What's the big deal, guys? What's the big deal? Longtime fan says that this is the first time a woman has been a part of the gold-clad Adeptus Custodes, with an online backlash now breaking out in response. Fansite Wargamer discussed the controversy in a post which described how there had been nearly over 3 decades of Warhammer 40k books and short stories only featuring male presenting Custodes guards. It went on to say the introduction of a canonically female character of the Custodes is being seen as fans as a continuous narrative shift on GW's part. Yes, GW should shift the narrative on a ton of things. How is this bad? How is this bad? They're shifting the narrative, they're updating it. It's just people upset, and it's once again why I don't get involved in this culture war stuff, because honestly, it's nonsense. You might say, well, why am I covering this now? Why am I continuing to cover this? Because again, this is my hobby. And when I saw this outbreak, and I was like, guys, you tried this and tried to start. People might forget this, but they tried to start all this up with the when they initially announced that they were going to do a new set of Imperial Guards, and they were going to be sort of introducing more females as part of the Imperial Guard. Yeah, you tried that and you didn't succeed last time. This time you've done your kickback, and now you've ended up in the Daily Mail. Congratulations, you're making the whole hobby look like it's filled with idiots and morons. Great move, guys. But anyway, another Twitter user asked Games Workshop whether more female members would be added. To quote, just, "We'll have to wait and see." There was a backlash online from some fans unhappy with the development. Most of them weren't fans. Let's be honest real here. Video game and executive and former World of Warcraft developer Mark Kern accused Games Workshop of gender flipping characters for, quote, woke points. First of all, this was a new character completely created for the lore, so there was no gender flipping going on here. It's just a new character, and they've changed the lore. It's a big retcon. This is GW. This is G-Dubs. G-Dubs does this all the time with new editions and new codexes. What's the big deal? He said the issue with Warhammer and Custodes is the lie. They could have changed it all they wanted. Why is it a lie? It's their law. They can change it to where they want to. But they decided to, quote, lie and pretend it was that way all along. They've they've done this with the law before. They have absolutely done with the law before of just change something and pretended that it's that way all along. The lie, that lie is part of this, quote, insidious, malignant ideology that throws away all reason and fact. This, that is the part that is dangerous. Oh no. Having a female character is malignant and dangerous. How is this dangerous? Anyway, another enthusiast pointed out, that's all it is. Many just don't care about female custodies. They were upset about the lack of respect, upset with the disregard being shown. TW does this all the time. Guys, congratulations, you're being taken for a ride and amplified by far right. Dingbats, congratulations. Like I say, there was a big pushback initially when the Imperial Guard line got revamped a couple of years ago along the same lines. It didn't get as big as attention as it is now, but congratulations, you're being used. And they say that it feel is just going beyond that. It is starting to feel like outright contempt for the fans. Oh no, we've made a female of character. That's just outright contempt for our fans. Have you not seen the law changes that GW has done over the years? Not only just in 40k, but in fantasy and in things like AOS as well. it feels like these people haven't really been really aware of half the stuff GW has done in the past regarding its law retcons and changes it's made. Anyway, it was also suggested that the decision was clearly made to intentionally cause friction and nothing else. The ones causing the friction are the people overly complaining about this. As multiple people pointed out, the Sisters of Battle and the Sisters of Silence already exist as a powerfully portrayed female factions, and they're already unrepresented, and nobody would actually mind if anyone wanted to improve them. And who cares about putting a female Custodes in? If we get female Chaos Space Marines, who cares? Who cares if we get female space Chaos Space Marines in the next couple of years? I don't know. Maybe Slanesh can do that. I look forward to that retcon and the criticism that comes out of that. Critics were also condemned in the response, however, with such remarks as the issue seems more like you're afraid of women, and they exactly are. And getting this worked up about a retcon is intensely pathetic behavior. It is just a retcon. GW has done this before many, many times, and there was never this amount of backlash. But there you go. It was revealed back in August 2022 British actor Cavill would star in an executively produced new series for Amazon based on 40k. The game is set over 40,000 years in the future. Human civilization has stopped evolving amidst a never-ending war with alien species and demons. Military humans involved in that are known as the Imperium of Man, while other species include the skeletal androids dubbed to the Necron, elves known as the Eldari, or as they originally called the Eldar, aliens called the Tyranids, and the blue-skinned aliens named Tau. The game's inception dates back to 1982, when Rick Presley jointly created Citadel Miniatures, subsidiary of Games Workshop, and came up with Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which was released the following year. Cavill has spoken about being a big fan and painting his own miniatures. Meanwhile, Warhammer owner Games Workshop came under fire earlier this year after teaming up with a video game company with ties to Russia. Very true. That was a bit bad. The company then stopped selling its fantasy figures in Russia soon after Vladimir Putin launched its invasion in Ukraine in 2022. But it emerged that Games Workshop was licensing its intellectual property to Cyprus-based owner Alcat Games, which has Russian investors. That was, of course, Rogue Trader. Again, I would like them to see more, divest from this, but it's completely hard. Obviously, I think there should be a bit more of a sanctioned sort of push away from these types of things. But that's getting to actual politics. Now we're going to talk about stuff that really doesn't matter. Anyway, Owlcats obviously released a game called Road Trail last December with platforms on different platforms. The game branding includes the Warhammer logo prominently displayed as the official licensed product, with Game Stampers approval. A statement from the Moral Rating Agency and the organization that collects data on companies doing business with us said that people who play Warhammer or other Alcat games are indirectly supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine. They are. That's why I haven't bought the game myself, even though I would really like to buy the game myself because, but there you go. Games Workshop could have chosen to license another partner without Russian links, but a spokesperson for Be for Ukraine, a group aimed at stopping global firms dealing with Russia, said that this is just shameful corporate behavior. Games Workshop did respond to request for comment at the time. Mail and I would also contact the firm over its Adeptus Custodes update. Yeah, who cares? Like, no, literally, who cares in all this? I feel almost dirty getting involved with this. Like I say, there's better stuff to talk about this week. There's a local elections that are going to sort of determine Rishi Sunak's future. You've got all the stuff currently going on with Hamza Yusuf, who in the next couple of minutes is going to do his big announcement. So I'm sure he's going to be very interesting because I've already had to delete a video today about the stuff just because of his potential announcement. Looks like he's stepping down. Looks like the S&P might re-elect a religious fundamentalist, or, sorry, as the S&P are trying to rebrand her, just socially conservative. But anyway, there you go. So that's why I don't get involved with, honestly, a lot of this culture war stuff because it just rots your brain. But I am a big 40k fan. I am an AOS fan. I am a big GW fanboy. I love collecting the stuff. I play the games all the time. Just been involved in a big Blood Bowl tournament recently. There's just all this kind of stuff that honestly doesn't bear going on about. But unfortunately, you make the hobby look worse, guys. If you care that much, you are actively now making the hobby look worse, which is putting off people getting into the hobby because we have already trying to shed a very bad toxic reputation about the hobby in general. Because if we can do that, we can bring more people into the hobby. That means more people to play games with, and that is a very, very good thing, not just for Warhammer itself, but for the entire industry itself. Like people like Warlord Games or Malifaux, all these other different companies that do tabletop stuff. I'm looking at maybe getting into Carnival soon potentially as well. So there's a ton of stuff that is out there, and you guys are just making the rest of us look bad, giving us a far too toxic behavior over something that really just doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, if this is quote damaging, then why is it so damaging? And if anyone wants to debate me on this and wants to sort of stand on this, I'll gladly debate this, but it'll be a waste of my time. But I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun indeed. But as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time. Probably with something a bit better to discuss. But there you go. So as always, until then, we'll see you all very soon.